If you want to understand why Canada folded so quickly, you have to zoom out. This wasn't just about one tax. It was about Canada's entire position in the new global order, and the uncomfortable fact that it's been drifting economically, strategically, and politically for years. Let's start with the numbers. Canada's GDP growth in 2024 barely cleared 1%. Foreign direct investment declined for the third consecutive year. Major corporations are pulling out of or downsizing, especially in sectors like oil, gas, mining, and industrial manufacturing. Why? Because investors have stopped seeing Canada as a serious place to build. Projects get blocked, regulations change overnight, provinces fight the federal government in court, and the timeline for approvals is fucking ridiculous. Just ask anyone watching the cancellation of the Tech Frontier oil sands project or the implosion of the LNG export dream in British Columbia. Billions in potential revenue gone, replaced by endless consultations, carbon targets, and political paralysis. Now let's talk housing, Canada's sacred cow. It's not just expensive, it's fucking unsustainable. Real estate has gone from shelter to speculative asset. Mortgage debt is at a record high, and while policymakers brag about building homes, the reality is that most of what's being built is unaffordable to the very people who need it the most. Does this sound familiar? Cities like Toronto and Vancouver are now among the least affordable on Earth. And the brain drain is real. Young, educated Canadians are leaving, some to the US, others to Europe, many just simply giving up. And as all of this unfolds, what's been the plan? The Trudeau-era economic model banked on one thing: globalism. The idea that Canada could win by playing nice, aligning with international norms, and being everyone's favorite trading partner. A soft power country with global influence, a middle power at every summit. But that model is breaking down, and fast. The US is reshoring, Europe is fracturing, China's economy is stalling, and instead of adjusting, Canada doubled down on multilateralism, still clinging to UN climate goals, still pushing for carbon tax, still believing that the old consensus, spoiler, it won't. Because while the world turned inward, Canada kept looking outward. While the US built tariffs, Canada signed on to global minimum tax deals. While America ramped up domestic manufacturing, Canada stayed fixated on digital regulation and ESG mandates. And when it came time to choose between adapting to a tougher nationalist era or staying loyal to its fading ideals, Canada hesitated. But the US didn't. Trump's America may be loud, brash, and sometimes just douchey, but it knows what time it is. It knows that this is a moment to protect supply chains, rebuild middle-class jobs, and put your own country first. And here's the painful contrast. Canada still talks like it's living in 2015. The world is trying to survive 2025. That's why the DST standoff wasn't just about money, it was about philosophy. Canada still sees itself as a global citizen. The US now sees itself as a fortress. And when those two visions clashed last week, it wasn't just policy that cracked, it was Canada's illusion of independence. This isn't the country it was 20 years ago. The wealth is more concentrated. The industries, quite a bit thinner. The politics, more divided. And of all the talk of innovation and progress, the economic engine underneath is sputtering. So when Trump said, no deal unless you repeal the tax, Canada had a decision to make, and it realized something chilling. It didn't have enough leverage to say no. Because at the end of the day, Canada can't afford to lose the US. But the US, it's still not so sure it needs Canada.